Well, he's been nominated by Mayor Adams to serve as the city's next top attorney.
All right, but Randy Mastro, a former aide to Rudy Giuliani, faces an uphill confirmation battle in the city council, with members voicing concerns about his history of representing conservative clients.
Fox 5's Morgan McKay went one-on-one with Mastro. She joins us now. And Morgan, you pressed him on that very issue.
Yes, Steve and Natasha, the city's corporation council manages around 800 city lawyers defending the city against numerous lawsuits. But some city council members are worried that Randy Mastro would be more focused on the legal troubles facing Mayor Eric Adams.
Combining my two passions. My love for New York City and my love of the law.
Randy Mastro is a familiar face at City Hall, and now he's looking to make his return. Mayor Eric Adams nominated Mastro to serve as the city's next corporation counsel, which means that he would be the top lawyer for city government, and if he is confirmed by the city council, he would represent both city agencies and elected officials.
I'm looking forward to working with all 51 council members and their good ideas about what they need, what the law can do to improve the quality of life in their districts.
Mastro is known in the legal world as a fierce litigator and a former federal prosecutor. But Mastro is already receiving pushback from a handful of city council members who say his record makes him unfit to serve. Now that Mastro has been officially nominated, he has been meeting privately with council members and the Speaker of the Council to drum up support ahead of a council hearing later this month.
So I'm not a controversial figure. I am actually a unifier who has a proven track record.
When it comes to his record, Mastro says he is proud of his time serving as deputy mayor under former Mayor Rudy Giuliani.
I was the highest ranking Democrat in that administration, and we were pro-women's rights, pro-immigrants' rights, pro-gay rights, pro-gun control.
But some council members also point to Mastro's time representing former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie in the Bridgegate scandal, and how he now currently represents New Jersey in the state's lawsuit to stop congestion pricing.
Where do you stand on congestion pricing, since that is something that a lot of progressive members in the city council are really pushing for?
I would have to recuse myself in connection with any congestion pricing issue, but the city of New York is not involved in my case, and my personal views are beside the point. The fact of the matter is that Governor Murphy is standing up for the people of New Jersey, contesting the adequacy of an environmental review.
Mayor Adams right now is also embroiled in numerous legal conflicts, and council members who oppose Mastro's nomination say they are worried that Mastro would just become the mayor's lawyer on the taxpayer's dime. So we asked Mastro how he would handle 3 different legal issues facing the mayor.
Would you represent the mayor in the federal investigation currently ongoing against him?
No.
Or looking into him? No. Now, the mayor and his top public safety advisor, Tim Pearson, they have also been facing a couple of civil lawsuits accusing them of sexual misconduct. Will you be representing the mayor or Tim Pearson or Tim Pearson in these cases?
I can't answer a question like that until I'm actually fortunate enough to be corp counsel, and then I can review those issues myself.
Would you represent the mayor in his legal battles against the city council, for example, the solitary confinement bill and so forth?
I am aware that there are certain legal issues between the mayor and the council, and again, until I'm fortunate enough to assume the role, it would not be responsible for me to be opining on issues that I will have to personally review.
Despite the controversy, Mastro says he is focused on the job ahead, and if he is confirmed, he has big plans for what he calls the largest law office in New York City.
I have a vision for that office, to transform it into a place of affirmative good, using the law to achieve social justice. Go after guns, gang violence, organized crime, illegal smoke shops. There's so much more we could be doing.
Now, Mastro will be appearing for a hearing in front of the City Council on August 27th. Then, at a later date, the council will vote on whether to confirm Mastro to the post. Steve and Natasha?